y'all. This is Dr. Beauty, aka Adala. And before I continue, since this is a UIU review, I'm gonna tie in a little introduction. For all my Igbo people out there, yes, it's Adaola. Adaola means golden daughter, all right? You would not imagine. And look, when someone starts clapping like this, it means, listen very well. All right, no, but for real, like I had so many people ask me if my name is Adiola or if it's Adaora. I can bring out the birth certificate. It's spelled Adaola. It means golden daughter. And so many people ask me, because I guess my accent, whatever, they think that I may not be sure. I may not be quite sure what my actual name is after 26 years on this earth. But rest assured, I've been saying it right. And if you have any doubts, you can ask my mom. I can hook you up with her contacts. All right, but it is Adaola. Some people call me Ada for short. I prefer Adaola, okay? Adaola is how I say my name. And yeah. So this is a little review / info video on UIU for those of you who went or those of you who are considering going next year. So UIU stands for Umu Igbo Unite, and it's basically an annual event that takes place in differing cities each year to bring Igbo children, Igbo youth together. And there's a series of events that take place over 4 days to kind of encourage and facilitate discussion, positive discussion about our culture and about dating and being Igbo in America. And this was my first time going, and this year they picked the best city, honestly, Los Angeles, California. It killed so many birds with one stone for me because my cousins live down there and I'd been dying to go back, and so I got to do all of that. And I had not seen my girlfriends from Texas in like about 10 years, so it was like a girl trip for us too. Shout out to the movie Girl Trip. But yeah, so I mean, I got to kill so many birds with one stone by going. It was a great event. How did I hear about it? I saw different people from all of my different networks attending the last one, which was in Chicago. And I was like, okay, this person's there and that person's there. How did they know about this event? It really seemed like a great opportunity to like meet up with so many different Igbo young professionals from all over. They weren't even just from the US. There were people from the UK, there were people from Canada, so even from Nigeria, I've heard. So it was amazing. I'm gonna start off with the positives, and then I already talked about some negatives, but I will go more into the negatives. There weren't that many, but I think you should know in case you're planning on going next year, just to be prepared. So the positives, okay, from day one, I felt like, yes, I was really representing my culture. I was meeting so many different people. We're busting out our accents, It was a place where I really felt like I could be myself. Not that I'm not myself every day, but like, really, someone who knows what stockfish is and who knows, like the things that we see every day at home. It's not like some National Geographic documentary. This is what we live. And someone who can relate to you about those things, it was great to meet other people like that. I actually saw a lot of people from undergrad, from med school. By the way, I'm a med student. Shout out to my future doctors. People who were doing business. Shout out to my MBAs. I'm also an MBA as of last year. So yeah, I mean, it was a great culmination of so many different professions and backgrounds. I really enjoyed the after parties. I really enjoyed the talks that they had, especially on the last day. There was a talk about relationships and how difficult it is for some people to actually find a long-standing relationship in this day and age, with the added difficulty or advantage, depending on your perspective, of being Igbo. So I thought that was great. Now, when I first signed up for this event, my friends told me it was Operation Find Bay. All right, it's like, it's where you go to find your husband, your wife. And I was like, well, I have no complaints about that because I'm 26, you know, like by many standards, I am getting up there. But I really don't see it like that. I still feel young, fresh. I still have a lot of things I want to do, and God's timing is best. So I really was just there to network and to see, you know, if I meet people, we'll see where it goes. But I didn't have that pressure on myself, like, okay, I got to come home with a husband. I have a funny story about that though later. So yeah, I got to hang out with my friends, and we actually came a day early so that we could kind of explore LA. And, you know, because once you're in the convention, it's like back-to-back events. There's really no time for you to say, okay, let me just branch off and go here or there, because it was really located in the center of Los Angeles. So anywhere you wanted to go was about an hour away. So that's why we came a day early. When I went back, I went straight from the after party to the airport. Like, obviously I went to my hotel room to get my bags, but I did not sleep. I crashed on the plane like you never would believe. Like, I never slept in my life. But I literally went back because the after party was over at 4. And then I like chilled with some people and went back to my room. I had already packed before the after party, so I legit just had to brush my teeth, freshen up, and go to the airport. All right. What else did I like? I liked the date auction, although I was falling asleep. I had to take a power nap before the after party because, like I said, it was back to back to back. Like, I was like running on a time difference schedule. I'm from the East Coast, so we're 3 hours ahead of California. So do the math, I was wiped out every single day. And then I was like waking up early California time because it was like 10 a.m. in, you know, my city and 7 a.m. in Cali. Yeah. So some of the things that I felt like went wrong or was not expected or didn't go as planned was the food. All right. Now, I'm not somebody who expects too much. But we paid close to $200, and it wasn't like 3 scheduled meals a day. It was like, I can count how many meals I had on my hands from the event over the 4 days that we were there. All right, so there was the meat pie and snacks from the pool party, the happy hour. There was the brunch for the young professionals. There was the food at the banquet. If there was any other food, please let me know, because since I didn't see on the schedule or since I wasn't aware that there was any food, me and my girls went into town on several occasions to get food. We went to breakfast twice in the city. At 4 a.m. one day after the after party, I was starving. I couldn't handle it. I was like, we need to go get some food. So we went to Inglewood to some burger joint like on the corner and got some burgers because I just couldn't, like, I didn't bring any snacks, and next time I'm bringing snacks, but I feel like it could have been covered, you know, like for paying that much, and plus the flight, plus the Lyft rides that you have to pay for. It's a lot. It adds up. It does add up. So that was one complaint. Another that I had was the DJs were messing up. Like, I did participate in the talent show and everything went well for my soundtrack. But as soon as I got on stage for the real thing and for many other acts, it was all like everything just went to blazes. Everything we practiced just went to blazes. My mic wasn't working. I had to restart the song over again. I got another mic, and then the new mic, I couldn't hear myself. So it just literally like zapped all the energy out of me. And I kind of just stood in one place and just sang until the song was over. Like, I was that pissed. So, because I come from a very professional background when it comes to music, and it's not like I'm saying like I'm trying to get a record deal or anything, but like I have a lot of expectations. Like, the mic should work. There shouldn't be any problems once you've had sound check. So that was something that I was kind of, I wouldn't say embarrassed about, but upset about, because I practiced a lot and it just seemed like it just amounted to nothing by the time it was showtime. So that was another complaint I had. And nobody shouted out Philly, all right? Like, all my people from Philly or tri-state area, please, like, virtual dap up. there was no, except for like the last day, I think I was like talking and my friend was like, oh, they shouted out Philly. Like, nah, we came from Philadelphia. Like, this is not a 2-hour trip. It was far. I feel like they could have done a better job shouting out where everyone was from. I felt like it was still very cliquey, and maybe cliquey is a strong word, but for example, I didn't come with my friends, but I met up with my friends, and we kind of stayed together the whole time because there was never really an icebreaker on the first day. It was like, oh, here's the happy hour, and now here's a series of other events. And I'm like, well, there's really no time to meet people unless you just walk up to them. And not everyone's comfortable with that. I know especially a lot of the guys were not comfortable with just walking up to the girls, especially when they're in a group, and saying, oh, hey, my name is Chike, my name is this, like, you know, what's your name? Can I get your number? Like, not everyone was cool with that. So I would suggest maybe next year they could just like put us all in a little group or in a room, give us all name tags, and like facilitate some type of icebreaker so people can feel more comfortable with each other. Because I really felt like I didn't get to meet that many people. It wasn't until like after the fact, like maybe, okay, the after party, people start coming like, yo, what's up? Can I get, like, no, man, I'm about to catch a plane. Like, I don't even get time to bond with these new people. So I really felt like we could have had an icebreaker, a better icebreaker. And also, like, once I, tagged my pictures with UIU 2017, everyone's like, oh yeah, I saw you on the tag, like the DMs start coming in. But it would have been nice if we could have had more of a connection at the event. So maybe next year they can do something like that, some type of game, some type of icebreaker. Another thing I didn't like is I wouldn't call it discrimination, but there definitely was a way that I guess my knowledge of the culture was perceived because of the fact that I am born and raised in the United States. For example, at one point I was talking to one of the DJs at the beach party, and yeah, I'm putting them on blast. I'm sorry. But I was really upset because I told them I was born and raised in the States, and they were like, oh, well, don't worry, we're going to teach you your culture. And I was like, this? Like, I was so pissed because I said, wait, what? What did you say? He's like, oh, no, don't worry, you're good. I was like, no. Please expound. Like, how are you going to assume that I don't know my culture because I was born and raised in the States? I love my culture. That's why I'm here. A lot of people denied their culture throughout middle school, high school, because they got called African booty scratcher, they called this and that, and I embraced it throughout. Like, I didn't use an English name. Adala is my first name. Patricia is my middle name. All right, so I didn't go by Patricia. I went by Adala. I was proud of my culture. I know I understand and speak the language. I'm not like 100% fluent in Igbo, but I speak the language to some degree. I cook the food, I watch the movies. I'm not saying the movies is part of the culture, but it should just show you that I'm interested. And I feel like that is part of the reason why a lot of kids don't try to speak the language and don't really show out, because they're afraid of that judgment that, oh, somebody's gonna like say that I'm not really Igbo, I'm not really Nigerian because I wasn't born there. And the funny thing is, I was talking to one of the photographers, I think, and he said, look, it's not just you guys. Like, actually, I speak the language, and I went back to Nigeria, and they called me a hybrid. They were like, I'm not, Nigerian. I'm not fully Nigerian. And that's another conversation for another day. But I just encourage anyone out there who is going to the next convention or, just in your day-to-day life, if you were born and raised in Nigeria, just, try to embrace those of us who were not born there and who are actively trying to not necessarily assimilate, but embrace our culture, and who have been embracing our culture, because we're not just some stuck-up snobs who, don't care and don't want anything to do with the culture. Like, I eat fufu, I eat all of that, egusi soup. Like, I am in the culture, in it forever. Like, this is my life. So it's not like I just showed out for UIU and I don't go to any other events. I go to a lot of Nigerian events. I was in my ASA, I was a secretary. in college. So this is something that I've always been interested in, and it doesn't help the issue of us trying to be united if we try to separate among ourselves who's the most Nigerian, who's the most Igbo. No, that doesn't belong here or there. Because if you talk to an Italian person, if you talk to a Greek person, I may be jumping to conclusions, but I feel like they would be more welcoming of their people who have been like third and fourth generation in America. And I'm only first generation, and people tell me, oh, well, you're not Nigerian. Your parents are. You're not really from Nigeria. I'm like, I've got Nigerian blood. If I do that ancestry thing, you will see probably almost 100% West African, obviously, because both of my parents are from Nigeria. They both immigrated to the United States over probably 30 years ago. So I'm Nigerian, whether you like it or not. My name, with a name like Adaola, and my last name, not putting that out there right now, but, you know, like, I'm Nigerian, no ifs, ands, or buts. So yeah, I didn't like that. And I'm not saying that everyone was like that. It was just one encounter. But I wasn't here for that at all else. Okay, there was a session. There was I think it was the relationship session. And they made it into like, they centered it around this quiz called the love languages. And it's like 5, I forget how many love languages there are. I think it's 5. Mine was quality time, all right? I don't know if you've ever done it. Do the quiz, it's really interesting. But they got a panel of people based on their love languages and kind of asked them questions about that. And that was the relationship talk. And there was another really brilliant woman, I forget her name, who was talking about relationships and the compromise and everything that has to happen for it to be successful. But I really felt like it should have been, like, I know it helps with the time constraint to have a direction, but it really would have been nice if it wasn't just surrounded around the love languages, because not everyone uses that in their relationships. And I think there's more than one way to have a successful relationship, and it's not just the love languages. And some girl asked a very good question that was kind of just thrown to the side and deemed as irrelevant because it didn't pertain to the love languages, which was, you know, she wanted to know why, in her experience, she had met a lot of Igbo guys who didn't want to date Igbo girls. And I thought that was a really valid question, because that's why a lot of us are there. Because we're like, okay, we haven't had much luck in the real world and we're coming to this convention. So she just had a legit question. And you may or may not agree with her perspective, but it's nice to kind of hear everyone out. And we weren't able to. So I feel like next year they really should, you know, if you're going to call it an open forum, let everyone's question be answered. And it was within the time constraint. You know, so just be a little bit more open-minded about that. But other than that, I thought it was a really great event. I was very proud of my culture and all the things that UIU did to help the community. They gave out 7 $1,000 scholarships to students in need, among other community service acts. And they had a task force go out to Nigeria to, I think they ran a health clinic or, you know, something pertaining to the healthcare field, which was amazing. So, you know, I think I definitely want to continue to show my support for this organization and keep going to their events. So yeah, I mean, I think UIU really depends on what you're looking for, and you should definitely be open-minded. Don't put any pressure on yourself to make it something that it may not end up being. For me, I think it's too early to tell whether or not it was successful in some ways or another. For example, did I find my husband there? Who knows? But did I make some good networking connections? Definitely. Did I learn more about my culture? Definitely, especially with the talk on Biafra. Like, I really loved that. I Facebook lived it because I was at a restaurant eating breakfast because I was hungry as mess. Like, but anyway, I Facebook lived it, and it was a very touching topic. So yeah, I mean, I think I got a lot out of it. I think everyone there seemed really excited and happy. I mean, we really took over the hotel, the Sheraton. But as one of the speakers from the Love Talks Relationship Talk said, next year we need to take over the city. So whatever city we're in, we're taking over. All of us are taking over. So, if I ran into you or if you saw me and we didn't exchange contacts, just drop your comments below. You can message me. We'll be in touch. I definitely, depending on the city, to be honest, depending on the city and my schedule, I really do plan on trying my best to make it out to the next one. Yeah, and wherever it is, please remember to shout out most of the cities, if not all or none, or at least East Coast, West Coast, because I was so ready. I was like, oh, come on, East Coast, I'm ready. Philly in the house, and the last day they're just like New York, Baltimore, Boston, like everywhere else in the periphery of Philadelphia. So who knows? Maybe it will be in Philly next year because that was one of the choices on the survey. But yeah, so word of advice for when you go, if this hasn't changed, be prepared financially to pay for food outside of the event. Be prepared to pay for transportation outside of the event, like Lyft. A good idea is teaming up with your friends and splitting the fare. Splitting the fare. What else? Yeah, bring some snacks. If you're hungry like me, if you're always hungry, bring snacks. I would say bring some granola bars, bring whatever little munchies you can bring. Or you guys, we bought a case of water from Walgreens there in Los Angeles. You can go to Walgreens or Walmart or something and just get some snacks in the hotel to hold you over if you don't think that you're going to be able to go out and buy food. And if you possibly can, try to come the day before and leave the day after the event. It will give you time to enjoy the city that you're in, to meet more people, and to not have to go rush to the airport after the after party like I did. So, you definitely want to be relaxed at all times during this event. So yeah, follow me on my other social media. It's going to be in the description box below. And if you have any more questions about the event, also comment and let me know. I'll do my best to find the answer. And yeah, until later, deuces. Yeah, no, no.